Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slash Film Daily. This is Slash Film Editor-in-Chief Peter Schroeder, and I am here with special guest
Stephen Weintraub from Collider.com.
And we are still here in Las Vegas at CinemaCon. This is going to be the last report that we bring you from CinemaCon, the convention for theater owners. We have seen quite a few presentations. There's quite a bit of stuff that we have not been able to talk about in the other entries, and that includes Lionsgate, Amazon, and STX. So in this reaction blog, we're going to talk about The Happy Time Murders, the new film from Brian Henson, Suspiria, Kin, Hellfest, A Simple Favor, and Robin Hood. So let's get to it.
The first thing we're talking about is, I believe, The Happy Time Murders.
Yes, this is produced by STX, and it's directed by Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son, who has done a bunch of the Muppet movies. He did... he's working on a ton of stuff, including he did this great segment of the Stephen King miniseries that was on TNT. I'm not sure if you ever saw it. It was a silent episode. It was amazing. Anyways, Happy Time Murder stars Melissa McCarthy, and she is in... It's like a detective story set inside this Muppet world. Or not Muppet world, like a...
Imagine, the best way I can describe it is, you know Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Imagine if instead of the animated characters being like that, there was a world with Muppets, but the Muppets and the humans all interact, and it's totally R-rated, completely filthy, and...
we saw this like red band trailer, and... Actually, it started off really funny with them playing the Rainbow Connection, and it's her and her partner, who's like this humanoid kind of Muppet character, listening to it in the radio, and it just gets filthy right away.
It's everything I wanted in this movie. This has been in development for a very long time, and I don't want to spoil the way this Red Band trailer ends. I will just say it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a Red Band trailer.
Well, here's the thing, Steve. When you say filthy and you say, like, puppets, I think people are imagining them just, like, swearing and stuff.
Yeah.
But this involves... The ending of this trailer involved one of the most graphic sex scenes I've seen, and it involves puppets.
Yes. It was amazing. It was straight up amazing.
It's probably one of the top three things I saw at CinemaCon. Really, honestly, I'm a big fan of the Muppets, big fan of Brian Henson, but just on top of that, it was hilarious.
Yeah, when this Red Band trailer hits the internet, I think people are going to be very, very excited. And the thing is, like, people are looking for, even though we all superheroes and whatnot, like, this is original IP. This is not anything like you've seen. I loved the footage with all my heart and soul. Cannot wait to see the movie.
Yes, we should move on to Amazon Studios. They showed a bunch of stuff, but the one thing we want to talk about is...
Actually, I realized they also showed Boy Erased, and they showed a few other things. But the one thing we're going to,
The thing that our readers and our listeners want to know about is Suspiria.
Sure.
And this is directed by, what's his name? The guy that did...
Luca, and I can't pronounce his last name to get it right, and I don't want to say it on camera, but he's a great director. He did Call Me By Your Name. He's done a ton of movies. He's an Italian director, and this is a remake of the Dario Argento film from the 70s, but it is completely unlike the original. This one takes place in Berlin in the 70s, and it is... we learned a little bit about the film, but the thing is that he showed a scene from the movie to the CinemaCon lunch crowd, and being completely honest, it was not the scene I was expecting. It was graphic and gross, and people
grotesque. It was insane.
We'll describe it to you, but there were people at our table that turned away from the screen because of how grotesque it was. It
basically involves a dancer who is in like an audition space that's surrounded by mirrors, who is being telekinetically moved, controlled,
yes,
into dance positions that are contortions that are breaking her bones, tearing her apart, making her pee on the floor, blood going everywhere.
Yeah, it's really a horrific scene. Horrific, but more than that, it's not a scene that goes by in like 5 seconds. This is it goes on. Yeah, it's a few minutes, and as the scene is progressing, this person who's getting essentially tortured is you're just hearing it's the sound mix. It's the sounds of the bones breaking. And
People are looking away. This is also taking place at a lunching, so people are like in the middle of like feeding themselves, and like I see people like spitting stuff out, and they're looking away, and like
it was complete. That's basically just saying, yeah, we're making something that is disturbing here, and we're not apologizing for it. It comes out in the fall. I'm sure you're going to see a trailer, and you're going to learn a lot more about it soon. But the footage was awesome. Like that's the reason I went to the luncheon, is to see this footage, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy to the point that it might not even be for me. It might. It really just like it might not be.
It was too much.
It might be too much.
Oh, and so the star Tilda Swinton is in it. Dakota Johnson, a few other people, but it was pretty fucked up. It was. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, and another film, or let's get to Lionsgate actually.
We're jumping into Lionsgate.
One of the films that they showed us that I didn't really know anything about is this film produced by your friend, producer Sean Levy, who did...
21 Laps is his company, and they did Arrival. They produced Stranger Things. Sean directs some of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But they have been having like a mix recently of sci-fi and young adult stuff. And Kin is directed by another two twin brothers.
Yeah,
which is weird.
And actually, their company has done a great job at finding new talent.
Yes,
like the Duffer Brothers. Actually, a lot of brothers,
yeah.
And giving them a chance at the big screen. And they had the short film, I think, a couple years ago, Bag Boy or something.
I'm forgetting the name.
Yeah,
I want to. Not Baghead, but it's something.
Yeah,
there was a short. It came out in 2014. And they took the short and basically expanded on it, made this feature, and it's about
a bunch of this family in like the ghetto, right? You call it
sure,
a ghetto?
I don't know about that, but
it seems like a poor area, and it's this young black kid who finds an alien gun, and his brother,
played by Jack Rayner from Sing Street fame,
gets released from prison. There's hinted at that there's some kind of secret there that he has not told his younger brother.
Totally.
We don't know what that is. And shit hits the fan. People are after them.
James Franco plays the leader of the human antagonists. Basically, Jack owes James and his gang some money. And the aliens, the brother finds an alien gun, and the aliens essentially come to the planet to retrieve the weapon or find out what happened or whatever.
So both the aliens are after them, the gangs are after them. It's kind of I don't know.
Sure. So when I spoke to Sean a few days ago to premiere the poster, and he called it very Amblin-esque. And
it looks like that,
right? And it's basically a little bit of like wish fulfillment for the kid finding the weapon. The weapon is badass. I think the trailer is going to be online later today, so we don't have to spend a crazy amount. But I do think the trailer is going to be released.
I mean, it looked interesting.
Listen, I think the movie looks really cool. It looks different, and I think it is. Remember, I Am Number 4?
Yeah.
So this looks like the better version of that.
Yeah, it looks like a cooler version of that.
Yeah, that's what it... That, to me, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, it's a little bit of that, but this looks way cooler, and it was made for much less money.
Okay, a film I wanted to talk about is Hellfest. Because I'm now a huge fan of like Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. Have you ever been to one of those?
They don't let me attend that anymore after I freaked out the first time.
Well, just so people that don't know, is these theme parks around Halloween time hold these like mazes, these like horror mazes where you go in and get scared, and there's like people jumping out at you, people in costume. A lot of fun. I've become obsessed with them now, and I've always wondered at these mazes, what would happen if someone actually got killed? Because they could just be like a dead body on the ground and no one would notice.
Totally.
And this is that movie. This is someone like me had that thought and was like, there's this guy that goes to these things like once every couple of years and kills people. And actually, the first person they mentioned in the trailer, the first person he killed was this girl who was hanging in a maze for 3 days before people realized that she was not a prop, that she was an actual person. I don't know. This looks like a lot of fun to me.
Sure. I'm going to say this because I'm always known as being so enthusiastic. I think the concept of this idea is really good. It looked low budget execution. It
looks like a generic kind of horror.
Yeah,
movie.
it did
I
not-
agree, but the concept has me
No,
in.
I am totally on board with the concept, but here's the problem. The problem is yesterday we saw the footage of Halloween. The
Yeah.
David Gordon Green footage of the new
yeah.
Halloween. And that footage was so spectacular and well made and well directed and well shot. And it looked really scary. So when you put that against this, and it looks kind of like, it has a great idea, but it doesn't have the execution the same way.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's like, it's not the same.
Yeah, no,
But I
mean,
love the idea.
I don't know. I want to see it.
I'm not trying to shit on it, by the way. I just wish it looked,
Let's move on to a movie called A Simple Favor, which I didn't know anything about.
I did.
This is starring Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively.
Totally.
And I think
by Paul Feig.
The trailer, I think, said something like "From the Dark Mind of Paul Feig."
Yes.
Which I don't know had me laughing, and I was expecting it to be a comedy.
No, it's a completely break from what he does.
It is a dark. I mean, maybe it's a black comedy. I want to like a dark comedy like kind of thing.
Well, basically, Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick play neighbors or nearby neighbors. They both have a kid that goes to the same school. They become sort of friendly. Blake warns her that she doesn't have any friends, or you don't want to be my friend. And at some point, Blake Lively is involved. Her character is involved with something. She disappears, and Anna Kendrick goes on a mission to find her. And on that mission, discovers a whole bunch of stuff. But it looked really, really well done.
Yeah.
Like the acting, the way it was shot.
And if I showed you this trailer and it didn't mention Paul Feig, and I asked you to name who directed this
Yeah,
based on the trailer,
you would never say.
Like the top 500 names would not be Paul Feig.
I agree. Completely. And by the way, but it looked really cool. The trailer's going to be online soon. But both Blake and Anna looked great. But for me, you know what I was doing when Blake Lively was on stage, being
What?
serious? I was looking at her hand because she hurt her hand really bad in the rhythm section.
Really?
And they've been on hiatus and they're going back to film, and I wasn't sure how her hand was going to be, but she was fine with it, which means that it's recovered.
Yeah. We should move on to our last and final film that we're going to talk about at CinemaCon 2018.
Sure. Robin Hood.
I know, it's kind of anticlimactic.
There's only been 500 Robin
Yeah.
Hoods before this one.
This is not Ridley Scott's Robin Hood. This is a new Robin Hood starring Jamie Foxx, and Ben Mendelsohn is the Sheriff of Nottingham. And the best way I can describe this is
Well, you
this,
looked up Taron. How do you pronounce his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to do it.
The worst part is I'm the worst with last names. Taron. I want to say Edgerton, but it's not.
Egerton.
Egerton. That's it.
Okay. I want to describe this as if DC and Warner Brothers hired Zack Snyder to make a Robin Hood movie, this is what it would look like.
Wow.
No?
Maybe.
I mean, I know you like to defend
the
Man of
director,
Steel.
Otto, the guy who directed it, Otto. Well, that's a whole different movie. He did some of Peaky Blinders. What's interesting about this, which I
But
did,
it has like those slow motion ramp ups and ramp downs.
Sure.
It's very stylistic.
There's one thing about this that I didn't expect, which is there's a slight twist on this Robin Hood tale that is different than the others, which is that Taron plays someone in the Sheriff of Nottingham's group who is helping to try to stop Robin Hood and is being like, we can get him if we offer a better reward. Meanwhile, he's Robin Hood. And I don't think that's been done before. But ultimately, and I said this before, look, I'm a big fan of the people that are involved in this movie, but this is another one of those films where I'm like, how many people were clamoring for another Robin Hood?
No one. And that's going to be exactly as many people that are going to see this in theaters when it hits I'm kidding.
No, totally.
It's a joke.
I think that Taron has a big fan base, and the actors involved in this, and Jamie Foxx. And listen, I think that it looked fun, but again, it's like I'm not the person. I'm just not the person who's excited about another Robin
Yeah.
Hood. It's like sort of like when Warner Brothers made Pan. I'm like, who is Pan for? Like, how many people are like, I need another Robin Hood? I would love it to be awesome, but I'm sure you agree with me.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement, and I can't think of a way that you'd make Robin Hood that make it interesting to me. Maybe if it was sci-fi set in space.
No, I mean,
maybe I'd be interested in that. But this take just feels kind of like the same. I mean, I like the take that you're mentioning, where Robin Hood is part of his gang, but it looks too much like kind of a generic action movie.
See, I think it looks a lot
or,
better than.
or it's a stylistic action movie.
Sure,
Like it doesn't seem like there's something there that like, oh, I need to see this.
Right. This is one of those movies that after I see it, I will be able to like if the movie's good, the movie's good. You know, like there's no.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked a hell of a lot better than Hellfest or whatever. You know, I'm just being.
I
Clear.
want to see Hellfest, even though it looks worse. I agree.
Right, oh my god. I'm a big fan of the cast, and for that alone, I'm gonna totally see this movie, Robin Hood.
Yeah.
But I just am not excited about it the way I'm excited about other movies.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, my plane is boarding in like just over an hour, so I got to run to the airport.
Totally. So we'll just say, I was going to say thank you so much for tuning in for all of our CinemaCon
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I want to thank everybody that like if you're getting to the point where you're listening to this and you listen to us ramble about Robin Hood, then that probably means you listen to all of our coverage from CinemaCon
and say thank you.
I
For real.
appreciate it. We
Totally.
both appreciate it.
You can find more of my stuff on Collider and on Instagram and Twitter as Collider Frosty, and
You can find me at slashfilm.com on Twitter, slashfilm.com on the webs, and please go to iTunes. Listen to the podcast, Slash Film Daily, published every weekday, bringing you the latest news and stuff.
you can't prove that though.
I can't.
I don't think you can.
No.
Can you?
I don't know. I got to go. I really got to go.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.